Yes, that's right. Lawyer Tyrone Blackburn is going to authorities, asking and encouraging state and federal prosecutors to start a criminal investigation into T.I. and Tamika Harris, aka Tiny, on behalf of 11 of
Atlanta's night was supposed to be calm, but around 3 a.m., that peace was shattered with terrifying news. King Harris, the son of rap legend T.I. and Tiny, was fighting for his life inside a hospital ICU. His weakened body was connected to machines, each heartbeat fading slower than the last.
Try to take the good with the bad and just let them know. You go into prison if you keep it up.
Doctors murmured the haunting words, "Prepare for the worst," as chaos filled the cold, fluorescent halls of Grady Memorial Hospital. Alarms echoed, lights flickered, and medical staff rushed desperately around his bed, battling to keep him alive. This wasn't just another emergency. It looked like something straight out of a horror film. Every hour brought new leaks, new rumors, and new shocking revelations that tore through the internet like wildfire. King's mother, Tiny, collapsed in the hospital hallway, screaming in heartbreak as nurses rushed to hold her up. That devastating moment, caught on camera, spread across social media within minutes, breaking hearts everywhere. Millions of fans across the world were in tears as hashtags like #PrayForKing and #JusticeForKing Harris shot to the top of global trends.
Steve Sadar reached out to me looking to make a deal on behalf of T.I. and Tiny. And I told Steve Sadar that my clients want justice. So if the deal involves Tiny and T.I. turning themselves in and admitting to the crime that they've committed, then fine, we got a deal. But if it does not, then I would prefer to have the investigators do their work and to bring.
But as the world mourned, the story took a darker, more chilling turn. Leaked medical documents hinted that King's injuries didn't come from a simple jailhouse altercation. Sources claimed they showed signs of deliberate harm, with marks and patterns far too cruel and calculated to be caused by mere fists or kicks. Whispers of something far deeper began circulating, turning what looked like a tragic accident into the beginning of a dark mystery that no one saw coming. This wasn't just violence, it was a message. Someone wanted him broken, maybe erased completely.
I don't wish it on him, you know what I'm saying? I don't wish it on him. And I love him through it. Whatever he going through, I love him through it. Much criticism as I receive about my son, I would like to shed light on the fact.
Then came the haunting audio leak that froze the entire nation. In a grainy, low-quality clip, a prison guard's voice could be heard whispering, "The order came from above. We just cleared the way." That single sentence flipped the internet upside down, leaving everyone in total shock. Questions exploded everywhere. Who gave the order? Who wanted King Harris silenced so badly that his brutal attack looked more like a planned execution than a fight? Fans, bloggers, and online investigators pointed fingers in every direction, from rival gangs and industry enemies to hidden figures within political and prison circles. Some even claimed this wasn't about King at all. It was about shutting down the Harris family for good. Then, just as things couldn't get any more terrifying, another rumor set the internet on fire. A supposed ICU CCTV clip surfaced, showing masked men sneaking into King's hospital room late at night, allegedly tampering with his life support machines. If that footage is real, it suggests King wasn't even safe under hospital security, surrounded by doctors, because forces far more powerful wanted him gone. Outside the hospital, chaos erupted in the streets. Protesters, fans, and loved ones gathered, holding candles in the freezing Atlanta air, chanting "Protect King" and "Justice for King." The atmosphere crackled with grief, anger, and disbelief.
Not this, you're not this. And then I'm going to him saying, "Bro, why you doing that? Why you even doing that?" He like, "Bro, the point is to make them think that you're not this. That's the whole goal."
First off, the kid's a menace, right? He goes around. No, I'm serious. Yo, King, listen. King goes around terrorizing the community of Atlanta, bro. That's a fact, bro. I'm serious.
Inside the hospital, silence fell heavy as the family stood broken, watching their world collapse under flashing lights and endless questions. The man once known for his unshakable confidence now appeared broken. Pacing the hospital corridors with trembling hands and a cracking voice, he begged before the cameras, "My son is being targeted like he's some kind of enemy. He's just a kid. Please, someone stop this madness." That raw plea spread across the internet in seconds, drawing massive waves of support from some, while others coldly dismissed it as karma for T.I.'s past. The internet instantly split in two. Half rallied behind the Harris family with fierce support, while the other half mocked their pain, turning a private nightmare into a worldwide spectacle. And then the footage dropped, sending shockwaves everywhere. An anonymous source claimed to have hospital CCTV from inside the ICU showing two hooded figures sneaking into King's room around 2:47 a.m. One crouched near the bed while the other stood watch at the door, looking like they were plotting something dark. The clip cut off before showing more, but the message was clear. Someone was sabotaging his recovery. Nurses and doctors, already under extreme pressure, reportedly whispered fears of outside interference, warning that even within the hospital walls, King's safety couldn't be guaranteed. One whistleblower nurse even revealed that King's ventilator had mysteriously shut off for several seconds earlier that night, right before alarms blared.
T.I.'s son, King Harris, has been arrested after not appearing in court and some other things connected to.
Even more disturbing, footage of that exact moment had vanished from hospital records. Was it just a freak coincidence or a full-blown cover-up? Nobody knew, but the internet exploded with theories and outrage. Accusations began flying, pointing at powerful players pulling strings to erase evidence and silence King forever. Meanwhile, the Harris family's grief spilled out for the entire world to witness. Tiny was filmed crying so violently outside the ICU doors that she nearly collapsed, repeatedly begging, "Don't take my baby, don't take him from me." That heartbreaking clip shattered millions of hearts and replayed endlessly across TikTok and Instagram. T.I., unable to contain his fury, allegedly punched walls, screamed at doctors, and accused the hospital of hiding the truth about what he believed to be murder. Witnesses claimed his rage grew so intense that security had to intervene after he smashed a chair. Those images raced across the internet instantly, painting a picture of a father battling not only for his son's life, but also against a system he believed was trying to erase him. And just when the storm seemed unbearable, another shocking claim exploded online. King's blood had reportedly tested positive for foreign toxins, substances unrelated to the jailhouse fight and not part of any prescribed hospital medication. Whispers grew louder. Was someone poisoning him inside the hospital walls? Anonymous hacker groups even claimed to have broken into hospital files, posting, "They're not saving King, they're finishing him." Fans across the globe erupted with fury and disbelief, convinced this wasn't just a fight gone wrong, but a cold, calculated attack backed by serious power. Outside the hospital, protests erupted into chaos. Demonstrators clashed with riot police stationed at the doors as tear gas filled the freezing Atlanta air. The city transformed into a battlefield over King's fate, with social media live streams capturing every second in real time. Millions tuned in as Atlanta burned with fury, grief, and disbelief. By sunrise, this was no longer just about a young man fighting for his life. It had become a war of narratives. Some voices claimed King was paying for the sins of his father, while others swore he was the victim of a powerful industry plot meant to silence him before he could reveal something explosive. With each rumor, leak, and scream echoing from the ICU, truth became harder and harder to find. One thing, however, was undeniable. King Harris was trapped in the middle of a storm far greater than himself. A storm threatening to destroy not only his family, but to shake the very foundation of the industry watching from the shadows. As dawn broke over Atlanta, the nightmare deepened. King's condition slipped from critical but stable into something far more terrifying. Doctors whispered about possible organ failure while nurses sprinted between rooms carrying trays of emergency medication. Each beeping sound from the machines strapped to King's fragile body hit like thunder in the hearts of his loved ones. Around 5 a.m., T.I. and Tiny were quietly pulled into a private room, where they heard the words no parent should ever be forced to hear. Words that shattered the last bit of hope left in that hospital. If we don't see improvement soon, we may have to discuss letting him go. That single line shattered the Harris family like glass. Tiny collapsed again, screaming so loudly that staff claimed her cries shook the entire hospital floor. Witnesses said she even had to be treated after fainting. A secret recording of that devastating breakdown leaked online, flooding millions of feeds and turning the internet into a river of heartbreak. People didn't just witness grief, they felt it raw and unfiltered, like the entire world was watching a mother lose her soul in real time. But just when it seemed nothing could get worse, another confidential report dropped. This one suggesting King's bloodstream contained traces of a mysterious substance not matching any treatment doctors had administered. Analysts quickly ruled out common drugs, hinting this wasn't just a medical crisis, it was sabotage. Someone had allegedly tampered with his IV line, slipping poison into his system while he lay defenseless in that bed. That revelation blew up online, fueling hashtags like #ICUBreach and #ProtectKing Harris, sparking mass outrage across social media. Fans demanded answers. How could the son of one of hip-hop's biggest names, a high-profile patient in one of Atlanta's busiest hospitals, be left so vulnerable? Within hours, anonymous accounts dropped yet another clip, supposedly CCTV footage of two hooded figures sneaking into King's ICU room. One bent down near his bed while the other stood guard at the door, fueling fears of a full-scale plot unfolding inside hospital walls. The clip cut off before showing what happened next, but the message was crystal clear. Someone didn't just want King hurt, they wanted him gone. And they weren't stopping at the jailhouse walls, they had followed him straight into the hospital. Outside, the chaos matched the terror inside. Fans and protesters packed the streets, some holding candles, others clutching signs that read "Justice for King," while tension filled the air like smoke. Chants echoed as helicopters circled overhead and riot police tried to hold the line. The hospital no longer looked like a place of healing. It looked like a war zone. Reporters swarmed the scene as cameras captured every scream, every argument, and every tear shed by the family. The Harris family's private pain was now being broadcast worldwide for millions to see. Inside, tensions boiled over. Tiny's relatives reportedly pointed fingers at T.I., accusing him of bringing a curse on the family with his past lifestyle. T.I. snapped back, yelling, "This ain't karma, this is murder." That heated exchange, caught on camera, went viral instantly, splitting the internet even deeper. Online, the divide grew wider. Some believed King was an innocent victim of a dark conspiracy, while others cruelly claimed the family was paying for old sins. But then another chilling leak dropped like a bomb, this time not from guards or nurses, but allegedly from a high-ranking official tied to Georgia's prison system. In a muffled phone call, a voice whispered words that froze everyone in shock. "If the boy talks, everything collapses. He can't leave that bed alive." That one sentence set the internet ablaze. Suddenly, this wasn't just about King being attacked because of who his father was. Now fans believed he was sitting on a secret so dangerous that powerful people wanted him silenced forever. T.I., red-eyed and visibly broken, doubled down outside the hospital, telling reporters, "My son is a victim of a system that would rather silence him than protect him. This ain't no accident. This is planned." His explosive statement split the internet even further. Some stood with him in solidarity, while others mocked, saying he was using tragedy to gain sympathy. But whether people believed him or not, one fact was undeniable. The Harris family was living through hell while the entire world watched. Inside the ICU, the horror only deepened. A whistleblower nurse risked her entire career to reveal that King's ventilator had mysteriously shut off for several seconds in the middle of the night before alarms screamed. When staff later tried to review security footage from that exact moment, the files were missing, gone, erased as if they had never existed. Coincidence or deliberate cover-up? Fans across the globe didn't hesitate. They screamed "cover up" in unison. Social media drowned in conspiracy threads. Some claimed this was mafia-style revenge. Others insisted jealous rappers had set it up, and even more pointed fingers at government involvement. Theories spread like wildfire, sparking heated debates and panic. But one thing nobody doubted: King Harris's life was hanging by a single fragile thread. Even celebrities began speaking out, making the storm even bigger. Cardi B went live, crying, saying, "That baby don't deserve this. I don't care what you think about his daddy. Pray for King, man." Snoop Dogg added fuel to the fire by cryptically warning, "The industry ain't what it seems. Protect your kids, day after all of us." Those words sent chills racing across social media, as if confirming what fans already feared, that something much larger, much darker was unfolding behind the scenes. And while celebrities spoke out, the hospital itself transformed into a fortress under intense security, with guards at every entrance and cameras watching every hallway. Security around the hospital tripled overnight after protesters tried to storm the main entrance. Police lined up in full riot gear, turning the area into what looked more like a battleground than a place of healing, with King Harris's fragile life at the center of it all. Inside, doctors grew increasingly desperate, whispering grim phrases like multi-organ failure and irreversible damage. Cold clinical words that shattered the Harris family's last bits of hope. One insider claimed T.I. completely lost control, punching walls and screaming at the doctors, yelling, "Don't tell me to let go. You're lying. You're not doing enough." His rage terrified both patients and staff, but it also exposed the raw heartbreak of a father watching his world collapse. Meanwhile, Tiny clutched King's hand so tightly that nurses had to gently pull her back. Neither parent would leave his side, even as doctors warned that the next few hours would decide everything. By morning, social media was flooding with unverified leaks, each more disturbing than the last. One claim even suggested King had been declared clinically dead for nearly 2 minutes before doctors shocked his heart back to life with electric paddles.
If that was true, it meant the Harris family had already experienced the unthinkable, watching their son die once, only for him to be pulled back from the edge. That revelation sent fans into a frenzy online, crying and speculating whether someone was deliberately keeping King trapped between life and death. The chaos, grief, and unanswered questions made it clear this tragedy had become bigger than anyone could have ever imagined. The clip went viral within minutes, convincing millions that King was still under attack, even inside the hospital walls. By late evening, T.I. stepped outside to face the massive crowd flooding the streets. His face was soaked with tears, his hands trembling, and his voice cracked as he cried out, "They told me to prepare for the worst, but how do you prepare to lose your child? My boy's in there fighting for his life while the whole world watches. Please, I'm begging you. Pray harder than you ever prayed before. He doesn't deserve this. None of this is fair." That emotional plea spread like wildfire, replayed millions of times across every platform. Fans described it as one of the rawest, most heartbreaking moments ever captured from a rap icon. A father stripped bare by pain, begging the world to pray for his son. But even as those powerful words echoed across social media, the storm refused to calm down. Rumors kept exploding online. Many believed this wasn't just a brutal jailhouse fight gone wrong, but an assassination attempt carefully planned from the top down. People demanded answers. Why did the prison cameras suddenly cut out during the attack? Who ordered the guards to stand down? And who kept erasing leaks from the hospital's internal records? The questions multiplied, while the truth stayed buried in the dark.
Doctors once again warned that the next 24 hours were critical. King Harris was still clinging to life, trapped between survival and tragedy, at the center of one of the most chilling stories Atlanta had ever witnessed. His family was told to prepare for the unthinkable, but they refused to let go, holding tight to faith while the world held its breath. This isn't gossip. It's a real tragedy unfolding in real time, a storm that shattered a family, divided fans, and shook the music industry to its core. And the scariest part? Every leak, every scream, every whispered rumor feels like just the beginning. Behind those hospital curtains, darker secrets are waiting to explode. Secrets that could shake not just Atlanta, but the entire world. When the next bomb drops, will King survive this nightmare, or will the Harris family face the most devastating loss of all? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, this story is far from over. The culture is still shaking, and the world will be watching every second as it unfolds. If you want to stay updated on this unfolding story, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this storm is only getting started.